Excuse me. Welcome to B Cube Sunday morning. This is Bob Brown, and I am just thrilled to be here. We have two guests currently being held hostage by our editor, KG Anderson, over at a coffee shop. Those of you who know me and love me know that I am the most organized human being in the world. So when we set up this podcast, I syncs out and everything. Then I went to bed. Well, turns out that my guests are all waiting for me over at the coffee shop. So while doing that, while Karen is getting them all on, and so they can join me because we have two wonderful guests today. Uh, they two young women who have made self publishing work for them, and are selling their books and their ideas, and some of them are brilliant. I will have to tell you, but I'm going to save all of that hero worship for when they actually get on because I'm sitting here in a quaint little La Quinta hotel room uh, saying, alrighty, any moment now those squares are going to show up. But as long as we're talking, let me set in the comment section is on. And let me tell you, we got some good stuff going on at BQ Press. We're here at NorwestCon, uh, hence the T-shirt. Maybe you can see it. There we go, NorwestCon T-shirt. Very nice T-shirt this year. They did it, and the dealer's room is pretty well run, and a new for NorwestCon. I have to say, this is new. I have not heard a single person say how bad registration was. Not one. That is a wonderful change of pace. However, I'm still looking over there. As we're sitting there working the booth and getting the books to be sold, just a reminder that we have End Games on sale. End Games, you may recall, is the one with the cover of a poor, lonely man sitting in a tuxedo in an old, tattered chair behind a bunch of bars. And so we've put it on sale for an indictment special. You know, it's not every day that the main character of four books gets indicted, but so be it. So, but it's a good book. It's got Jim Wright and David Gerald and K.G. Anderson and uh, Deborah Godfrey. I think even Stephanie Weipert and a few other good so it's one of our better liked little volumes. It's thinner than some of the others. But just a reminder for those of you who are writing, we have open calls out right now. Um, you'll hear it first here. This is our first public announcement of it. Alternative Leadership, by Deborah Godfrey. Alternative Leadership is looking at people who are underrepresented in leadership roles. Now, key thing is the roles matter. For example, it's highly unlikely that a cat will ever get elected to be king of the mice, but certainly would represent underrepresented. Now, the key thing is we're looking at we like humor, we like redemption, so we're looking for stories that will give us that. How did this, how do these underrepresented people get into leadership? And how do the underrepresented people manage different and such? Because you can, there's some real fun statistics that I know I can bore people to death with, but something like 30% of the city over 30,000 have female mayors. Whereas if you go up into the governor and national leader scale, it's far fewer. And I've always postulated that that is because the leadership style matters more the closer you are to the people. Well, guess what, guys? You don't have to hear me talk about philosophy because da 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 da. I see Karen and Tom, and I see two victims of my failure to be the best communicator.
Would it help if I just turned off my sound?
I'm going to give you my computer.
Okay, sounds like all the fun's happening down at the coffee shop. So, Elizabeth and Gretchen,
Hi.
good morning.
Good
So,
morning.
I just, for the people, and good morning, Tom and Karen. Okay, Karen, turn your camera a little bit. You got Tom to get in, and you're center. There you go. Don't hug the camera. Smile. And good morning, Karen. Welcome back to the Great Northwest. First of all, Tom, have you met our guest this morning?
Yes, we met here waiting for you. Because we didn't know where you were.
Well, would you like to introduce them?
No, I'd like them to introduce themselves. Because they can do a much
All
better
right.
job than I can.
Well, let's start with Gretchen. Gretchen, tell us about yourself.
I'm Gretchen SB. I write urban fantasy across all different types, regular urban fantasy, paranormal romance, and paranormal cozies.
Well, that is cool. And then Elizabeth.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Guizzetti. I write vampire books and a series of comic books about demon dogs and venturing dogs.
Cool. Now, I have to tell you, here's what I heard you tell me yesterday. That you write you have a comic book about two demons who have retired and decided to move to Seattle and be dogs because they got somebody there that's going to feed them, pet them, and clean up their poop. And
well, I'm pretty sure I didn't use the word poop, but yes, that is what the book's about.
I didn't think you used the other word. Oh, but okay. I forget. You may be bolder than I remember. But I have to say, watching, yeah. Well, you've got a wonderful display here at the dealer's room. Both of you you're very close to each other, separated by a 6-inch wall.
Less than that.
Okay, a 4-inch wall.
Do you want us to switch tables and go over there?
Oh no, I'm just meaning where you're very close to each other.
Oh.
Okay, so when I told everybody you were coming on, now Karen, were you saying something you meant for me to hear?
I'm saying that we're getting some echoing, and I know how to get rid of it, but it would involve me logging off, then logging back in and giving them my computer. Shall I do that?
Yeah, do whatever works. Because you know what? We're flexible here.
Let me back in.
Okay, I'll see you in a bit. Okay, guys. I when I ask you to come on, because both of you have one thing in common. And you're in the coffee shop or the dealer's room?
I'm gonna give Safari. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna log back in as with a different name on the screen. Yeah, a guest or something. And then I'll give you my computer.
Yes, question. Okay, I have no idea what he asked. I only know what you said.
Sorry.
While they're chatting, I will tell you that when I looked at these guys' books and displays, I realized that self-published had a new step change in it. The cover art, the books, the quality, the booth arrangements, and everything were phenomenal. And let's see here. I'm letting Karen in. I got this tiny little screen that barely responds to me. There we go. I found them.
I'm going to
Okay.
give them my computer. Try turning that on.
Okay.
Log out and come in this way. Let's see what happens. We'll just test it. I've waited.
Okay. But what the reason I was telling folks, and for folks watching, don't think this is anything abnormal for BQ Press. We just usually hide all of our confusion and false starts from the public. But as I was saying, I have Gretchen and Elizabeth here who we're going to ask them questions and get them to talk about uh, the self-publishing as they've experienced it and how they've made it to be a success for them. I mean, you have T-shirts and everything, Elizabeth.
Yeah. So one thing that I have found is that there are a lot of companies that can do small runs of things. And because of the small runs, sorry for the echoes. And because you can do small runs of want to give and put out under your own name. So because of that, it's easy to like do T-shirts now, to do stickers.
Demand. If they're only printing like 5 or 6 books at a time and somebody notices something, then it's much faster for you to fix that than it would a big publishing house where they might have done a giant print run.
You mean to say that occasionally a book gets into print with an error?
I know, it's shocking.
Completely shocking.
My God. Don't tell Karen because she is hell on errors. In fact, she's probably even there now doing this. So, how long have you guys been doing self-publishing?
So I self-published my first comic in 2009. Yeah, so I'm not quite sure for a while.
2009, and that's back before self-publishing was cool.
It was. I was definitely one of the few people doing it at that point.
That's 2000. Let me put on that's 14 years ago.
Okay, so I've been wrong all weekend. I've been saying 12, but apparently 14.
13, 14, yeah. 2009. Yeah, that's a long time ago.
Yep.
So, what were the challenges that you guys faced as doing this? I mean, what did you have to deal with the snootiness of the elite community?
Well, do you want to go ahead?
I mean, the only time I ever had problems actually was when I would do book signings in bookstores, and readers would come up and ask me, "Is this self-published?" And if I said yes, they would put the book down and then not buy it. And that was, I would say, the first. I've been doing this about 10 years this October, and it was the first 3 or 4 years where before self-publishing got really big, it had this huge stigma, and that has since changed. But I haven't gotten anything from the publishing world itself.
Yeah, actually, within publishing and the science fiction and comic book communities, people have been very welcoming to self-publishing. It might be because it's new technology, and this group tends to like new technology. But yeah, it's only sometimes when people are outside of that do they think that self-publishing means, oh, it's not edited. When a person who self-publishes books and they want to they would like to get their books edited, and certainly that's one of the things that if you self-publish, you certainly do pay for it.
Okay, I'm losing you, Gretchen. Line that camera back up. Your buddies.
Closer.
Yeah, hold on.
Well, that is something to be said for the notion that, I mean, as you said, in the last 3 or 4 years, they've grown far more accepting of self-publishing. And so, and I have people that'll occasionally come to me with books or talk about it, and I'll really look at it and say, you know what? Self-publishing may be a better bet for you because you're going to get a bigger bang for the buck. You'll get a greater percentage of your own books. Um, you don't have to peel off a piece for everybody. And you mentioned editing. I say thank God that more self-published writers are doing good editing to their books, good proofing, because as Karen will tell you, hi Karen, that you cannot oversell the notion of a well-edited book. You know, they need to be well proofed, well edited. Now,
Yeah.
do you edit your own stuff, proof your own stuff, or do you hire editors?
Oh, I hire an editor.
Yeah, I hire an editor and a proofer for my books.
Yeah.
And for the vast throng of the self-published writers amongst us who say, I don't need no editor, listen to these women. Uh, they they speak truth. So go ahead,
Oh.
tell me more.
I was going to say, I also know my limitations. My grammar skills are not great. And so I would never assume that what I did editing wise was good enough.
And
Well, they're good enough. I mean, go ahead, Elizabeth.
I was also going to add that though artificial intelligence editing is getting better and better, that should also not be relied upon, because though they can catch a lot of stuff, and I actually find it as a tool to use like a Grammarly or a pro writing aid between like my first draft and then my second draft to kind of clean things up. I would never assume that the program would catch everything that a human editor can. And also, if you use them long enough, you certainly notice specific issues that that sort of program will always catch. And sometimes you want those things in it, specifically like passive voice, or sentences that are, yes, technically they're run on, but they make more sense if they are run on sentence compared to if they are.
Oh, I'm not leaving you. I just was leaning over. Yeah, there's you know, I like the grammar check on Word that will, first time you run it through, it says change this, so you change it. The next time you run it through, it says change it back.
Yep.
The so you gotta have confidence in what you want. Now, have you ever used Pro Writing Guide?
Pro Writing Aid? Yes. I use it before it goes to my editor. I do my, I dictate the entire book and then I do my read through, and then I run it through Pro Writing Aid even before it goes to my editor.
And I use
Rachel, one of our other writers, she swears by it. I'm sorry, Elizabeth, I talked over you. Go ahead, say that again.
I was just gonna say, and I tend to use Grammarly. But
I've heard Grammarly is almost as good.
Yeah, they're pretty comparable.
Yeah. Tom there, he says that nobody can edit or proofread their own work. Now, Tom's a pretty good proofreader, too. But,
I know one person who can.
Now, that I assume that's Andrew. I don't know who that is, but I know Andrew Lucas writes RPG books, so I'm figuring that is. But there is. So what we're seeing a consensus here, guys, is self-published people, or you're doing the same thing that publishers do. You have people that write the books. You have people that edit the books. You have people that proofread the books. Do you format your own books?
I do, because I love it. Also, because I tend to do illustrated books, you have to know how to do it.
Yeah, it's the comic books. So basically, people who are thinking of self-published writers as an old man in t-shirts and boxer shorts sitting in front of a computer typing out his litany of what's wrong with the world. This is not your Uncle Ben's self-publishing world.
You want to just sit
This
behind
is
You can.
this is where all of the same processes take place.
Yeah. The only difference is you're now an entire publishing house and not just a writer.
That is key. So, have you bought your first Mercedes yet?
No, but I did buy a Subaru, but not for my writing.
Just a Mercedes lacking.
I like a Subaru, but I will tell you this: self-publishing. If you've got the energy and the skills, which you guys apparently do, it is a path. Would you recommend it for somebody, or when would you not recommend it, and when would you recommend it?
Well, I would recommend it. Obviously, I've been doing it a long time and I really do enjoy it. But you just have to really be self driven. And you also really have to be good at calendaring, as in figuring out your own time and how long things actually take. And then you're, that was a funny comment, Liam. um, and also like scheduling things when you're timing things with conventions and when you also want to release things, and you have to figure out your schedules in that sense.
Yeah, I do and don't recommend it. I think it depends on the person. If you're somebody who doesn't want to have to learn how to do all of your marketing, your advertising, all of the going out and finding vendors to do your editing, your covers, and everything, if that's going to be too much for you, then being an indie author is not going to be your jam. If you like to have your finger in every pie when it comes to writing your book and you want those bigger percentages, like we make, a way higher percentage on our books than you would with a established publishing house or like the big five.
And now they're back.
And so it depends on the person. If you're really self-motivated, it is amazing. But if that's going to be hard for you, then it might not be the best route.
Hey, let me ask you a blunt question up front. Obviously, we're starting to see the impacts of hotel, internet, as you're lagging into non-existence. I would very much like to bring you back when we're not suffering from internet failures. What do you think?
It sounds great.
Yeah.
We'd love to come back.
Well, I tell you what, let me talk to somebody about it, because I got a guy hosting next week that is very good at this, and we'll go as long as we can go until we completely collapse under the weight of hotel internet. But just take it for granted, folks, because the readers seem to have a lot to say about what you're doing. Uh-oh. Karen messaged me.
I don't know how she did that, because I have both her phone and her computer here.
Yeah.
I should mention that.
Yeah, we have her phone and her computer. So if she's messaging you, either she's psychic or maybe you're in trouble. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. You guys know Karen.
She was sitting here just a second ago. Tell him you're on her computer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're
When it
on
comes to Tom and Karen, I mean, Tom
We
loves my
have Tom. Karen has disappeared.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just Tom. Well,
Yeah.
Tom loves my freewheeling style, and that's one of the things that endears me to him. Isn't that right, Tom?
Oh yes. Oh yes. That's
I'll tell you about the time when I accidentally said PST when I meant PTSD or something like that. But anyway, so now, if you guys were like on Green Acres, you'd be saying self-publishing's a life for me. Would you?
Yeah. But I should say that I've been published a few times, and it's just like for me, it works better for being self-published. But I also have I had such a wonderful time working with the small press that I worked with, and I can say only good things about them. They were 4814, by the way. They're based in Texas. I loved working with them. I learned so much working from them that when I changed genres and started writing vampire books, I was before I wasn't writing vampire books. This was not the place to publish those, but I felt like, oh, I can do this now because I had been published first.
Well, now do your vampires sparkle?
No. The sun
Oh,
will
thank
destroy
God.
them, but very, very slowly because, people are actually kind of big.
Yeah, she actually did a really interesting thing with her vampire books, and that is she did a podcast about it. And it's basically a podcast for new initiates into the vampire world. So she talks as if she's instructing them on how the vampire world works. It's actually pretty cool.
Oh, that is cool. So Vampiring 101.
Yeah.
So you should send a link.
That is cool. That sounds like a good night course down at the college.
How do you do that?
Bada bing, bada boom. That was a joke. Supposed to laugh mightily.
Tell them we'll send a link.
We'll send the link. Sorry, Tom is saying something to us. Sorry.
Is Tom being snarky on the side?
No, he was telling us what to do.
I'm making suggestions. I'm not telling you what to do.
Okay, something's happening.
Don't touch things. Okay.
Yeah. And you got a handshake deal and a story yesterday from me. You got to say know what you're getting into. Well, so now that you're tell me about being a dealer, selling your self-published books, marketing, merchandising. What do you do? I mean, I saw you have T-shirts. So how's that work for you? Is it overwhelming, or do you get help, or do you just plow through it with, we can do this?
Actually, that's kind of what I do. I just am like, I want to do this. I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's going to have that first convention where they don't really quite know what to do, and they'll mess up on their pitching on their books. But, once you've done a few conventions, you really learn what helps sell your books and what doesn't. And everybody is a little bit different. Every book is a little different.
Every convention is a little different.
Yeah. So it's like, I don't really sell that many T-shirts. I actually mainly made them so I had something for convention wear, especially the comic book conventions. Like today, I'm just wearing my vampire dress, but yesterday I was wearing a walnut razor fang T-shirt, and I specifically wear those if I'm if I'm at an event that it seems like that might help sell the book. But I don't always wear them. I also have other like at Crypticon. This is my favorite Crypticon dress, everybody. I don't know if you can see it. It has vampire bats on it. But so it just depends on like the event. And then I shouldn't talk too long. Gretchen, go.
Her tables are set up better than mine. I'm just going to preface that. I mainly do my books. I did do pins for a while because pins do really well with sayings from the books. But I just put books on the table. The big thing for cons for me is that I will have physical copies of omnibuses, and people at cons tend to like those a lot, is what I've learned. And so they can buy the first 3 books and not have to worry about waiting to find you for a year. And so that kind of thing that was one of the things I learned about cons, is that, like Elizabeth said, every con is different, every booth is different, every book is different. But that seems to be the one consistent I see, is that if people can get a bunch of your books, especially in like one form, and not have to wait a year to see you, then you're really, doing better for you and for your customers, your readers.
And I'd like to put one more point onto that, which is once you decide on the size of your books, which work for you, don't change that.
Yes.
No one wants to buy a book and then buy the sequel in a different size. They want consistency, especially within a series.
Yeah.
So all my hardback books are royal size, and all my paperbacks are 8.5 by 5.5, and then all my comic books are comic book standard size.
Yeah.
Even the big publishers get that one wrong.
Yeah.
It gets really annoying for readers if they go through halfway through a series and you go from like 5x8 to 6x9, because they like when the entire series is level and the covers look similar.
Mhm.
It's the same kind of thing when you change your covers. You have to change the whole series covers.
That's right.
Because people will get a little upset when they get halfway through a series and it doesn't match anymore.
Yeah. And I would also say that when you're thinking about that, you want to think about what color story fits for your genre, for your book itself, and why does that color story fit? And are you going to keep that color story through the series? And if you're not, does it make a rainbow? Does maybe the colors go from green to blue and purple? That's fine too. Oh, we just lost Bob again.
I don't know.
I should never talk about color theory.
I mean, we could just. I don't know if he is gone or we are gone.
Yeah, I'm
at
not
this
sure.
point.
He's gone on my feed too.
Oh, you guys are still there. I was just going over to read the comments, and I figured you guys were on a roll. And one good thing about having wonderful guests is once they start talking, try not to interrupt them.
But Elizabeth is absolutely right. That is, so all of my series, which I learned the hard way because I'm on like the third version of covers for some of my books. If you do it by color, so I have my paranormal romances are purple, my cop thrillers are orange, my magicless son of a witch is blue, my werewolves are a different type of blue, and so when people are at my table, they're all in color blocks, and I could just go, oh, well, the purple is paranormal romance, the blue is this. Like, I can point out the colors, and their eyesight goes straight to those covers. They know exactly what I'm talking about, versus going, oh yeah, the far ones are the romance, and then the next ones are colors. Really helps you out as long as they match the genre that you're writing as well.
Yeah, and I also learned that the hard way. I love bright colors, and my vampire books originally had very bright colors on them, and really no one wants a vampire book that looks like that. The book itself inside didn't change. It just was the cover, and then the covers started. Once I changed those covers, the book started selling. Specifically, the vampire mysteries. That was the big one.
The new covers. I love the new covers.
Yeah, the new covers are so good.
Well, that sounds like good. Now, I have good news and bad news for our watchers this morning. All of us have to be in the dealer's room by 10. And that means we've got, we're cutting off at a quarter till, which puts us down to the last 9 minutes. And so this is where we do Plan 9 from B Cubed, oh, come on, I need more jokes. I need newer jokes. Hey, you know why the Texas armadillo crossed the road, right?
Oh no, I've heard this one already. Why, Bob?
He didn't.
So, try.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, so tell us more.
It looks like we have a question. How do you get your cover art?
Oh, so anyway, as I was saying, I'm an illustrator, so I do my covers. But there are several cover artists, and you can look online and look at different things and see their portfolio.
Yeah, I work with 2 different places for my covers these days. One is actually an author friend of Beth and mine's, and she does covers on the side. And then I work with a company that I think it's called Get Covered or Got Covered or something like that. They're out of Ukraine and they do fantastic covers. So I go back and forth between those two sources.
Ukrainian covers this time of day, this kind of time in the century is a bold move. I'll have your cover to you just a second. I have to repel a Russian invader.
Does Tam sell her covers?
So covers. How important? You said you needed to put dark covers on your vampire books. Karen, Tom's partner, did my last cover, and I thought she did a wonderful job of it. But do you both you have similar experience with covers?
Yeah, I mean, we all say you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, but we all do it. If you're looking for a specific genre or a specific type of story, you're looking at that cover. Like if you're a romance reader and you see that, bare naked man chest, it's probably a romance book, and that's probably, what you're the audience for. Judging a book by its cover, we do it to find the books that we like, whether we want to admit we do it or not.
Yeah.
Now, is it more of a cover style or the details? I mean, it would matter a lot if that bare naked man was Uncle Jim over here with his big hairy belly, or Fabio, right?
There is an audience for everything.
Did somebody say there's an audience for both?
Gretchen did.
Yes.
It was Gretchen.
I have done the Amazon searches, okay? My recommendations are just trash because I have looked to see what is out there just for curiosity's sake. There's an audience for everything.
That scares me.
There's porn about it on the internet.
Yes.
That's right.
So how do you see this finishing for you guys? Are you going to be someday heading up your own publishing business? Or are you going to keep self-publishing? You're going to sell it all to Big Five publisher and move to Tahiti? What's the thoughts?
Well, so unfortunately, my husband hates the heat, so we will never be moving to Tahiti or any other sort of beachfront area. We will be staying in Washington State. And
Same.
And so, honestly, I plan on just continuing to self-publish. If I do have a project that works well with another publisher, I certainly wouldn't not publish if I had a project that worked for that publisher. But right now, it's just self-publishing and working on my vampire work and doing the comic book, specifically Walnut Razor Fang.
Yeah, I mean, I am a true blue pantser in all aspects of my life. I'm not real good at planning anything. So
Gretchen.
well, I guess the plan is to just keep independently publishing. That could change at any time. I just keep going.
Well, guys, I applaud you. That's bold what you're doing, and I urge you to keep going and plowing your own trail, because it's your trail and you're doing a damn fine job of it from the looks of it.
Thank
And while I'm cutting us off early, I want you to know that you two are going to get an invite to come back, because I like what you're saying. I think people want to hear what you're saying, and I want to do it in an atmosphere where we're not you're not saying, Bob, I thought we were supposed to meet here, and I'm saying hey man, it's like a virtual world. Just push the button and shit, we're there, man. My ability to communicate is legendary. So was that Karen?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Karen. So thank you guys, and I will see you all in about 10 minutes as soon as I put on my other shoe and walk over to the dealer's room. Thank you much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Paul.
Bye-bye. Now I'm going to punch the end stream, and this is where